thing, timing and support. That it's
Rick,
evolved to now where the non-puck carrier is the one that I want to see driving the play offensively.
Rick, I've turned record on because I wish I had 15 minutes ago because what you said was precious. But right now, the talking of timing and support, I'll describe what we did on the weekend. Tom Malloy did it during last year. He had a parent keep track of shots, circle the goal scorers. He also had that parent keep track of completed passes for both teams. Now, I had parents do that the last day this weekend, and all they kept track of was passes. And we changed it to completed pass got 2 pluses because the passer had to see and make a pass that a receiver had to catch and get open for. If the passer had their head up, was looking and trying to find somebody with good intention, and it wasn't complete, it got a +1. And the parents became aware of this because I talked about it at the parent meeting. This is something we did last year, and this is something we're going to do all year. And it's going to get back to the coaches that we want to outpass the team we play, outpossess the team, because passing and receiving are the lacking tactical part of the game. And I feel we've made inroads enough where this is going to happen next year with every team. The parents, the players, just by being aware we're counting passes, the pass is valuable, the pass is more important than going coast to coast. It's team play. So that's going to happen because the process of that happened at this camp. That's probably the thing I feel best about. And thank goodness Tom Malloy did it with the U13 team last year. They outpassed teams. The worst once was over 50-4. Most times it was like a 3-1 ratio or 2-1 ratio of passing more. And one game, Rick, a U13 team, I counted 7 consecutive completed passes. They went D to D, back to the D, up, over, back, up again. It was like, are you kidding me? At U13, with no deliberate teaching, like box support drill, are you open, over teaching, just the statistic of passing, they'll get better at it. And that's the goal next year. And this is the only thing I've recorded from this session that I'm going to share because it's going to become I think, a staple at the U11 whole ice level eventually, but maybe their skills aren't good enough to carry the puck, keep their head up and pass yet. But the U13 level, especially AA, I think it's a very reasonable expectation. So any thoughts, ideas that you've done related to valuing the pass and being better at it?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. I was going to offer them at any rate, but yeah, it's things that I've adopted over the more recent years is in practice. You stress the importance of passing and the proper techniques of giving and receiving and all that's involved there. But then where I go further with it is usually you have a puck scattered all over the rink, and I work on a one puck practice format. The puck you start the drill with is the one you finish it with. If you can't control it and possession of it through the drill, then you get back at the end of the line and you're done. You don't get to pick one up along the way and just get the shot on goal. You make the puck important, and they very quickly adopt that as part of their being. Now, if you stress it as the coach, they will take it to heart and they will complete passes on a more regular basis just because of that. It's amazing how that works. And your whole flow in practice improves. You get more accomplished because you're completing the exercise the way it's prescribed. And you're doing good things instead of things that aren't going to really help you. You're doing more of the good stuff and less of the bad stuff. And over the course of a season, that makes a big difference. You're muted again, Wally. Sorry.
The habit of passing, the awareness and the valuing of passing.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you something we did on the weekend that I want the listeners to hear. I always ask in Team Japan women when I coach them, I said, what's the pucks made of? Of course, they said rubber. I said, no, it's made of gold.
Yeah, you've told me that one before.
Now,
I agree.
this weekend, Jordan Fenton said, the puck is your cell phone.
Yeah.
You own it. You keep it. You don't want anybody to get it. So they have to value it more. So coaches out there, valuing the puck and possessing it, protecting it, keeping evasive side turning, sharing it with open teammates. That's the game. And that's what we need to teach. And what we're trying to do is do that. Now, related to the skill of passing, I watched them pass. We did paired passing. I just wanted to see if they were 15 feet apart and pass to each other, would they handle it and pass? Would they slap it or would they catch and throw, touch pass it? Well, majority of them just slapped it back and forth. They didn't feel it. So I actually had to teach them to handle the puck before you pass, to spin it. Now, this was for the coaches to see because everybody's teaching no dust passing, which at that level is slap passing.
Yep.
And you've got to feel the puck better. So one of the drills I did, everybody was in the end zone with a puck, and they had to keep their head up and trade pucks. Now, what happened was these kids started skating in the same direction, so they weren't facing anybody. So we had to get them skating in different directions, doing some tight turns, getting the head up, keeping their head up to not collide, but then slow down. They had to slow down and trade pucks. So what I learned, the trade the puck drill, was you had to regress it, slow it down so they wouldn't collide, make sure they were able to skate facing each other at times, and when they made eye contact, trade pucks. So the head up, the carrying of the controlling of the puck and the trading of it, eye contact, that's the essence of the game, connecting with your teammate. Now, the skill of passing, handling the puck and passing it back and forth, then progressing to catching and passing without handling it in a soft way, like pretending the puck's an egg and you don't want to break it. Handling it precedes no dust passing. And many players have skipped that because coaches have skipped the feel of the puck on their stick, spinning it from heel to toe. So those are things we covered on the weekend that I think people that are listening here that want to teach can take away from this weekend and the share that you and I have had on passing. You mentioned the one puck, priding the puck and honoring it and respecting it. And I know that you've mentioned this before, that if there's a missed pass, you still play that puck.
If you can.
In a drill. You
But
don't
that's
go,
game.
coach, don't throw another one so the drill works.
No.
And I think that's really important. I'm not so sure at the U13 level yet, but maybe it is. It's a habit is a habit is a habit.
Well, I did coach a U13 female team about 6 years back. And I used that same process with them, and it made a huge difference. They can handle it.
That's good to hear. Now, we did a habit thing in cross ice scrimmage that related. I think it's worth sharing here. It's about having your stick on the ice. So you always provide a target. And most players, when the scrimmage was on 3 versus 3 cross ice, their sticks are in the air. So we had a stick on the ice rule. If the coach said push-ups because somebody's stick was off the ice, everybody did a push-up, and the offender did 3. So they knew their habit. Then you went back to it again. After 2 or 3 cycles, sticks were on the ice. They were ready. The second habit rule is facing the puck. If anybody turned their back in that cross ice scrimmage, it wasn't facing the puck. Push-ups,
Yeah, I
same
saw it.
thing. 1 and 3, 1 for everybody, 3 for the offender. And that's an ingrained conditioning of the mind to think about what's a good thing to do in a game. And it starts at the U13 level and carries over at every level. Players with good habits that always face the puck, always have their sticks on the ice, go to the net and stop on attack. Don't go for a skate and glide by or fly by. Those are habits that we can teach at this age, and that's what we hope happens with the U13 program.
Yeah, I believe they can handle it. Just a little further on stuff on the ice, sticks on the ice. That's another one of my cardinals, as you call them in practice. Any free skating, that sticks on the ice. The arm movement is, as you call it, north-south, not east-west. One hand on the stick. There's the idea that you should always have 2 hands on your stick is one of those things that comes out. There's a right time and a wrong time, but when you're free skating, it's 1 hand on the stick on the ice. You just never know. As I tell them all the time, you just never know when a puck's going to hit it, but it's never going to hit it if it's up on your hip or up over your shoulders or off your knees.
Yep.
And the other phrase I use all the time is with a purpose, and you might remember that one from the good old days. Whatever you're doing out there, you have to know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then get it done. Don't just throw pucks to get rid of it. Don't get it off your stick so it's not your problem. If you have no one to pass it to and no place to put it safely, keep it. Make them take it away from you.
Yep, good point. Rick, you mentioned 1 hand on the stick, 2 hands on the stick. One of the players, daughters of a coach, the evaluators mentioned one of them stick too long and 2 hands on the stick, never ready for the situation. And I always advocate the pass receiver should have 1 hand extending the stick out, and they can move their wrist to angle the blade to be square to the puck. And it'll be 2 hands when they catch it. So target with 1 hand, catch with 2,
Yep.
soften the hands up. Those are things that, boy, during the year, you like to bring to the attention of coaches to stress with the players so that these habits actually are transferred. And I have to be thankful for this weekend, for you being there and witnessing, getting to do the things that need to be done, that you do, and I feel are so important to playing the game better and the right way. I think it's going to make huge differences in the way they play moving forward. It all depends on the coaches and their receptivity to this, because really we were brought up in an era of teaching, breaking down skills, building up skills, the whole part whole method.
Yep.
That was our mentality. Today's coaches just copy drills from the Hockey Canada website, and the kids
Too
learn
often.
by trial and error. So I'm hoping at the U13 level to help them teach these skills better so that when they do the great drills that are on the Hockey Canada website. There's no problems with them.
Well, and they need to take these drills when they get them, and if their group is not competent enough to deal with the whole thing, break it down to its parts and make them competent on parts A, B, and C, and then put A and B together, then put A, B, C together. It's a fundamental building process. But we don't see that enough. There are good coaches out there, there's no question, but we don't see it universally enough to where it's having a positive impact on as many players as it should have.
See, and you mentioned that ability to recognize and regress.
Yeah,
teach.
Have to do that.
Now, Jesse, he was the one coach that saw the Perns 3-on-3 wasn't working, and he, a short while, on attack triangle, and then it worked better. But it caused me, I learned from Jesse, to provide a teaching progression for the attack triangle. Now, all the other coaches moving forward, we hope will continue to be able to do this when they plan a practice, when they run a drill, to teach so the kids at this young age can acquire the tactical skills and the team play skills they need. So I'm really glad we got a chance to talk about this. It's been 16 minutes, but we might have a conversation, just you and I, for the benefit of my job and the role with young coaches who have had great playing experience with their daughters now coaching, who are not familiar with the teaching and the breakdown of the things that we've been blessed with in our era of learning how to teach before we coach. But I want to mention one thing, Rick. On the bench, those coaches that have played at a high level, whether it's university, junior, or pro, the ones I watched on the bench this weekend and during the spring season, their bench management ability and recognition of what's happening was, they were better bench coaches than I would be. I'd be almost pointing out too many things back in my day, but I've learned now, let them play and praise what they do well. And our bench coaching now is the ability to see the game, reinforce the good things that are happening, and the coaches that we've got, they'll provide feedback and make adjustments in the game. And one of them is the best at motivating and getting the most out of their kids by sort of laying down the law of effort, honest effort, and competing.
I know who that is.
I'm really looking forward to the whole year. It's a big factor, but I think the ex-players that have played, they know the value of effort and are able to instill that value in their young teams. And there's an art to how hard you push and demand to it. But what I've witnessed is it's something we all could get better at. It's part of the art of coaching. So, okay, Rick, look forward to talking to you, and we'll see what happens next week. And you have a good weekend. Okay.
Yeah, you as well, Wally. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.